Hello and welcome to today's program. College-sponsored apprenticeships are filling the manufacturer's workforce pipeline. At this point, I'd like to introduce our moderator for today, Michelle Clark, Senior Marketing Specialist at Tooling U-SME. Michelle, if you're ready, the floor is all yours.
Thanks, Trevor. Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for joining us. We're here at Tooling U-SME, and we're with Harper College to discuss about how college-sponsored apprenticeships are filling the manufacturing workforce pipeline. Filling the skills gap has kind of reached an urgent level these days, and apprenticeships do continue to be a great solution. But the paperwork required by the Department of Labor for registered apprenticeships can be really daunting for even the largest organizations. So to encourage and show the value and benefits of apprenticeships, Harper College was one of the very first community colleges in the country to start a college-sponsored apprenticeship program. And by becoming the connector between the Department of Labor registered apprenticeship program and local businesses, Harper College was able to lighten the burden associated with apprenticeships for organizations in need of employees. Today, Tooling U welcomes Dr. Rebecca Lake, Dean of Workforce Development at Harper College, to discuss how the role of community colleges can have a huge impact in helping fill the manufacturing skills gap through apprenticeships. To give you a better understanding of the benefits of college-sponsored apprenticeships and how they work, we're going to go through a series of questions with Dr. Lake. And as I mentioned before, we'll welcome additional questions at the end of the presentation, so please feel free to type as we go in the question chat box. So without further ado, welcome, Dr. Lake.
Well, thank you. It's my pleasure to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you. So I believe we'll just go straight into the questions because we have quite a few and we want to get through everything. First question is, Dr. Lake, what prompted you and your college to begin the college-sponsored apprenticeship at Harper College?
You know, we get asked that an awful lot, and we always say that it is that key element in our communities that make us kind of answer the question. And the question had come from our employers and companies in our area, and they kept saying to us, you know, we just can't find certain people to become our employees and work in specific jobs. We just can't find people to work whatever it might be, industrial maintenance mechanics, CNC, robotics, but supply chain, whatever it is, but we can't find them. What can you do to help us? And so we really looked at how and in what ways do we serve our community, not only the employers, but those students, career changers, people are looking for something different in their lives. And so we started back in 2012 because Harper was very lucky and to have a grant with 20 other community colleges in Illinois. It's a tact grant, and I'm sure some of you understand about the trade adjustment grants. And we started it with manufacturing, building manufacturing students for our companies in our areas. And when that was over, it was right before the Obama administration really jump-started this push for apprenticeships. And as I mentioned to my other people who are in tact grants all over the country, is actually going into registered apprenticeship programs is a wonderful and easy leap from being a tact grantee and moving those things that you learned and developed and integrated into the education system within your college. For us, it was very easy because it was in advanced manufacturing. And all the other 21 community colleges in Illinois that were part of this, which is almost about half of all the colleges we have in Illinois, we grew those numbers of students in advanced manufacturing, and so we're able to begin to fill those requirements and those open positions for our employees and or employers and companies within each of our districts. And so the Obama administration in 2015 put out a call for a grant. It was called the American Apprenticeship Initiative. And what is very interesting is that someone asked me, so why didn't you do this before? Apprenticeships have been around for a long time. They've been around probably 80 years in those traditional registered apprenticeship programs, you know, the construction trades, the UAW, the electricians, the plumbers, the drywallers, the shipbuilders, those kinds of construction-based registered apprenticeship programs. And I said to someone, you know, we actually didn't have apprenticeship in our lexicon. I really knew nothing about them other than these large, like the UAW and construction unions had them, but I didn't know much about them. But this call came, and it seemed like such a way, an easy way for us to take what we learned from the grant and move it into apprenticeships. So when that happened, Harper did write for the grant, and we were awarded a small AAI grant, which allowed us to really start the movement to building registered apprenticeship programs here at Harper. So we answered the question and the call from our companies, because that's where it all starts. With apprenticeships, the companies must want those positions, and then community colleges, as we all know, we're here to respond. That's why our name is called Community College, is that we're to respond to those needs of our own specific communities. Because you know, there's 1,108 of us across this country. We all serve our communities as best we can, and so and all of our communities are slightly different. So that's
a great answer.
That's how we promptly decided that maybe we should move what we learned into apprenticeships, and so now we're 3 years into that grant. We were awarded a grant in 2015. And it'll go for 5 years. So.
Well, once you became that first college or one of the first to do it, were there certain questions that the college had to ask themselves in order to become a sponsor? I mean, what does the college need to do to be prepared to serve that manufacturer?
Yeah, that's a good question. When we looked inside, we had to make sure that as we talked to those companies and employers out there, and you physically must get out there. If I can share some and stress something with colleges out there, you must get out and talk to your employers. It's not enough to say, well, you know, they said on our manufacturing advisory committee, because lots of those committees have, you know, a lot of their adjunct faculty or faculty on them. But you need to get out and be face-to-face with those companies or the village economic development people, to find out who's moving into the area, that sort of thing. What do they really need? So one of the things that we had to do was make sure that we asked those companies what really was the position they were looking for. And for us, it was advanced manufacturing in industrial maintenance mechanic and CNC precision machining. And so then we took that, understanding that, and went right back into talking to our wonderful program coordinator, who when we talked to him about this, his name is Kurt Bilston, he said, "Oh my God, yes, let's try to work at that and work with it and see what we can do." So what we was able to do is look at what we had inside, and I would encourage all the community colleges to take a look. And you know, we already had those kinds of things that were associate's degrees and certificates that would lend themselves very well to industrial maintenance mechanic or CNC, and we had that already. So that was a big boon for us, because Kurt had all of those classes already approved, and they were already on the books, essentially. And then we had to look inside, and of course the dean was very supportive, but we had to look inside to say, you know, is admissions on us? Can admissions help us make sure that we get those students in, and that they know about that we're having the registered apprenticeship programs And admissions at Harper is wonderful. Bob Parsley's his name. He's over admissions, and you guys can't have him. You can't steal Bob away from us because he gets it. And Mark, he already has a person in his office that when people come through our website, and I encourage you to take a look at our website. I just type in Google HarperApprenticeships.org, and it's a big background with sunshine in there and people walking in and out of buildings. But when students come in and fill out that interest form, admission gets it and makes a call back out to them and says, explain to me what you're looking for. Have you signed up? But Harper admissions process has been streamlined so that we can make sure those and identify those people who want to be registered apprentices are identified. So we have the faculty on board. We know what position the companies are looking for. We know that admissions has it. The other thing that we wanted to do was make sure that we had a champion, and that's myself and our great staff. And so we are the champions that push and really reach out both to the company and inside the college about what is a registered apprenticeship programs. And then to finally is that what we did was what we have is president's backing. So that helps too. Our president said, let's go for it. We think it's a good deal for us, and it works very well because we have a lot of these things in place. So those are the kinds of things you need to find out. But it all starts, if I can say this once more, it starts with the employers. They have to be aware of what it is or we have to be aware of what it is the positions they're looking for. So we have
all
like
of that. Oh, go ahead.
No, you're fine.
Well, I was just saying it sounds like institutional buy-in was paramount for the college to have all the people working together creatively to develop and modify the processes. That's what it seems like.
Yeah, and if I can say that one, I always like the word that you used is creative. If I can say anything, and we always laugh about it, and my staff and I we have a lot of fun in this because we know we're making a difference, and we have a good time, and we enjoy the apprentices so much. And apprentices are not all 18 and 19. We have them up to 57 years old. So we have a large spectrum of apprentices. But we know we need to be creative, and we like thinking outside the box. How can we make this better for our employers and then the apprentices coming in? How can we make sure faculty have everything they need so they understand what is a registered apprentice? And admissions works with us. So you're absolutely right. It's the creativity of all of us together that just seems to make and move this forward.
Well, we're happy to have both manufacturers and educators on this webinar. So I want to turn a little bit to the manufacturers and ask about how did you show the manufacturers the value and benefits of this program?
That's extremely logical because when we first started, we have what we call outreach people that go into the community and talk with companies about what we call is those interactions, particularly at first, are what is the discovery? What do you want? What are you needing out there? And so our outreach people were all, as we started with manufacturing in particular, they were people who had been working in manufacturing and so did know those kinds of words and to talk to the manufacturers. So they went out and asked them what they were looking for. And when they found out they were looking for industrial maintenance and CNC in particular in this area, is that we were able to share with them that we had already a blueprint of here is a registered apprenticeship program. Harper has it for you. It's laid out in this type of curriculum. That it is an associate's degree because we built all of ours on an associate's degree so that the companies would know that as their apprentice, went through the foundation. I always call the associate degree the foundation. They also work with them at their company for with their mentor, so they can grow and use what they learn and adapt it to their specific company, so they can understand and use it like the Bob's Tool and Die way or the Abbott Rubber way or those kinds of companies, and really make sure that it's meeting their needs. When we talk to them about the apprentice and having the apprentice come and the mentor, we encourage them to do some things like make sure the job description is up to date so they know exactly what that person should be doing. And then we show them about the apprenticeship program and the price of the apprenticeship, because here becomes that return on investment for every single manufacturer. This is one of the things they need to understand, and they do, then they have it, is that these are people that will grow with your company. So it isn't a short-term, here's a person you can hire, they know everything about CNC, and so you don't have to teach them anything or your way. You can just plug them in and they're ready to go. This is a longer-term strategy, and so this is a talent pipeline strategy. And so you're able to make sure that the pipeline is being filled with your registered apprentice. When they hire their own apprentice, so it could be an incumbent worker or somebody new that they hire, so that they understand, and the companies all understand, is that you will have these the advanced manufacturing people working as in your positions for 3 years while they go through schools, because ours is a 3-year program, plus an additional 2 years because they sign up that they will always stay with them after they graduate with an associate's degree and lots of other credentials that are built into the program. And so you have them for a long investment. So you companies also pay for all the education for the apprentice, and so the apprentice doesn't take a Pell Grant out or anything, but the company does pay for them for their education here at Harper. How they offset that, so the return on investment, is they don't have to advertise for anybody to come in. They have a person who is working for them throughout the program for 3 years, so they're ready to go at a very high level at the end of the 3 years. Matter of fact, we've asked the companies, when do these apprentices get really useful for you? And the mentors have told us that by the end of the second semester, they're about 80% very productive for the companies. The person knows everything about your company. You don't have to retrain them or anything, and you have them started on their career path, and you know exactly what they can do as the company, so they can grow with the company. So to reiterate, the return on investment is companies make the decision to hire somebody not at a full price, a full pay, but a little less, so that everybody knows that you're paying for their education. So those, for us, it's in these 8-week blocks. You'll see on the website, if you go up and see the curriculum map, you'll see it. But they're 8 weeks in the fall, Monday through Friday, so that's their job. They're getting paid to go to school and get A's and B's. And the springtime, 8-week block, Monday through Friday. And I tell my companies, give me here at Harper those apprentices for 16 weeks. You can have them for the other 36 weeks of the year. And so they don't have to invest into advertising and trying to find someone. They don't have to pay so much overtime for everybody else in the company. They have a person who is well trained in what the company is doing and is very useful to them after the second semester. They give them a little wage boost as they earn and learn their skills and their knowledge as they grow, and they have them with them for at least 5-6 years, and hopefully most of my companies, we've been talking to them all. We have about 42 companies now we work with. They're staying and developing their career with the companies. So in those 8-week blocks, you have everything you need. You have the technical kinds of classes, machine processing 1, all those kinds of things, as well as your gen eds. So when the student is done at the end of the 3rd year, they have an AAS degree, 3 years experience with the company, and the company knows exactly what they can do, and a small certificate from the Department of Labor that they've graduated from a registered apprenticeship program.
Well, wow, that's a lot of information. One thing that I wanted to also mention that the manufacturers will appreciate is that they don't have to fill out the paperwork. That's a big benefit for them, and because that can be daunting. That can be a big issue about especially a smaller manufacturer is really interested in having an apprenticeship. The paperwork can be overwhelming. So having you be able to do that for them for just a couple of people versus 10 people is an enormous benefit. And just very quickly, can you tell me if the companies have any access to federal, state, or regional funding for the program?
It depends on the state that you're in. Some states do have a tax benefit for you. Illinois doesn't really have one, although you can talk to your tax person and you might be able to find something that is put together because of professional development, perhaps. But states are all different, so it depends on the state that you're in.
Great answer. Thank you very much. I want to understand the benefits for all of the stakeholders. We've got the manufacturers. It's going to feed their pipeline with qualified and loyal employees that are already aware of the company culture. The students can benefit exactly how, and the college benefit. Can you give me just a brief outline of those two, please?
Yeah, sure. Students in particular, and I think that what's interesting with this is students come in from all backgrounds. You know, they're career changers. There's the individual who has come right out of high school and decided didn't want to go to college. That isn't something they want to do, and so they try to do something at a food market or Jimmy John's delivering something, and they realize they just can't make it off of that kind of salary. So we have students come from all different backgrounds. We even have students because we do an email blast inside. Admissions does the college and says, you know, you're in our advanced manufacturing courses. We do have apprenticeships. You might want to come and take a look and understand about them. And we have a information sessions the first Tuesday of every month to talk to potential students who might be apprentices if they get hired from the company, and learn about that. What happens is the students come in and the benefits for them are these. One, they have a job, because in order to be an apprentice, you have to have a job. So companies interview. We share the names of the student, and as I mentioned before, our advanced manufacturing programs are associate's degrees. So we essentially do the first kind of brief screening of these students, because to take an associate's degree in any college, you have to be able to read and write and do math at college level. So they all have to be what we call cleared, meaning that they have to read and write and do math. And so you take that and you get, we have a big, huge spreadsheet, and you're on the spreadsheet that says you're cleared. So the student his name gets on this cleared list because you have to be hired. That's the first one. And the companies are on a list that say to us that we want to be involved in apprenticeships and really want to hire an apprentice. And so we exchange those names with everybody. Companies get students' names who are interested in their programs, which is IMM and CNC, and vice versa. Students get the names of companies. So they have to go and interview, and the company has to hire them. So first of all, students have a job. Number two, they're paid. Companies pay the student a salary and benefits. not at the top end of the salary scale for somebody that you would bring in that absolutely knows everything about IMM or everything about CNC, but that you have a job from day one. And so you have a job and benefits salary at a little lower level than you would if you knew everything about IMM or CNC. The companies pay 100% for the student to go to college for the 3 years. So essentially, while they're in school, those 8-week blocks, they're being paid by the company. As we tell our students, you're being paid to get an A or a B, so they're working diligently to do that. So they have a job, they have benefits, they're getting paid a salary, they're in school, an associate's degree, they graduate with an associate's degree and 0 debt. And they already have 3 years experience in that company. So those are kinds of the benefits that students have. They have a job, salary and benefits. They graduate with 3 years of experience, and they have saved their Pell Grants, because this is how we structured our registered apprenticeship program. They have saved their Pell Grants or their veterans benefits for when they go on, if they want to get their bachelor's degree in any type of advanced manufacturing. And we have those links with colleges around Illinois, and they're all online, the bachelor's degrees for advanced manufacturing, so the student can stay at their home company and continue on to get their bachelor's degree. So for manufacturing, they have an apprentice who will, at the end of the apprenticeship, will know exactly how the company works. They're acculturated for the company. Also, as you mentioned, Harper College does all of the paperwork. You don't have to do it. The companies don't have to be bothered by any of that. And the student has a job and is being paid in benefits. 100% of their education is paid for, and they graduate with an associate's degree at 0 debt.
I like the 0 debt. I think that's a good line there. How many manufacturers have you served to date there at Harper College?
We have now 41. 41. We have more. Harper, I'm going to back up a minute. Harper we're running 8 registered apprenticeship programs. So for us, we have, and you'll see it on the website if you go up and take a look at the programs we have. We have these 2 traditional, I call them kind of traditional, they're in advanced manufacturing programs, but we also have 6 non-traditional, they're white-collar programs. They're like in insurance and banking and finance and graphic arts and supply chain. So they have companies that are in those specific areas. So, but for the advanced manufacturing, we have 41 companies that we work with, and they're all smaller companies. We have some that only have 16, 18 workers in their company. They're just small companies. But what's nice about the program sponsor being the community college is that we can aggregate one person, which is what all these companies did. They tried it out, and they sent one person, because we've been doing this for 3 years now. They sent one person in to try it, and they enjoyed it. They liked it, because we really we always keep in touch with the companies, and then we keep a good handle on the registered apprentice while they're in class and courses. So for the college, because you mentioned, what is in this kind of becoming the program sponsor for the community college, it lets us do 3 or 4 things. One is it helps us meet our mission, which is serving our community, whether it's the companies and the employers in our community, or it's the people who live here and want jobs, or the people who drive from other places. We have a guy who drives from Wisconsin that comes down. As long as you can get to us, it works. So we serve our community, so it lets us meet our mission. It also, because we have what I call the key element for the registered apprentices themselves and the companies inside the programs, is the person is called an academic coach. And she makes sure that she touches base with all the apprentices throughout their apprenticeship program. She touches base with the faculty, and I meet with the faculty so they understand what are registered apprentices, what's their kind of difference about them, which means that they have a job, they have a lot to bring into your classes, those kinds of things. And also, Anne, our academic coach, meets with the companies at least once a semester. We always are talking to the mentors, but she is kind of the spoke in the wheel that keeps everybody in touch and everybody knowing what's going on. As somebody called her, she's the mom that says, touching base with the faculty, she might notify one of the students and say, Edward, you need to make sure you get your speech done because you're the last one to do the speech. So that really works. So having that whole kind of person that's kind of communicating among all of our partners, apprenticeship, company, faculty, the retention rates for the colleges go up, and so do the completion rates. What's happening with our apprentices now is that the percentage of those men and women who are continuing is 88%. That's huge. If any college will tell you that's a huge amount of number. Even at Harper, I think our retention rating is about 73%. Our retention rate is 88%, and we graduate 88% of them. So for us, it's the mission. It's also the enhanced retention and completion rates, graduation rates. And then also for us, as most of our colleges across the country are looking for ways to increase our revenues, because actually, and Harper is one of them, our FTE for tuition-based people coming in, students, is going down a little bit. And that's what always happens, is when jobs are good and unemployment rate is very down, so does the admission rates into community colleges go down. So it's another revenue stream for you. So it keeps everything rolling, and we appreciate that. So those are the kinds of things that help colleges with our mission, completion rates, and then another revenue stream.
And I would imagine that it also has a great impact on the community by strengthening the partnerships within the business community and boosting the economy. It helps build sustainable families. It's just a win-win-win situation for everyone, is how I wanted to recap that. Don't you think?
Yep. Absolutely, you're absolutely right. And so what we've found is those companies, can take on other projects. I mean, we've heard this from them because they have this pipeline now established that they're not afraid to take on additional projects and that come outside their factory so that they can make the products and ship them back out. Is it now what has happened is that we have so many of the initial employers that have been working with us that now, and we have so many different registered apprenticeship programs that they're coming back and saying, we want another IMM guy, but we really need a couple of supply chain people. So we're going to try somebody in that too. So I have one incumbent worker I want to do, but I think we need to hire another one. So we're finding, you're exactly right, is that we're able to really help the companies so that they can go on and boost their their bottom line by having a steady stream of ready workers that are the apprentices, but they're learning exactly how those companies do it. So they're not having to take so much time off of everyone else, that the person is starting to learn from day one, how do we do it the Abbott Rubber way. Okay, are you there, Marcia?
I'm sorry, I was on mute.
Michelle.
Now that everybody's on board, I called you Dr. Harper, so we're even.
Yeah, well, I live here, so I don't,
Now that everybody's on board, the manufacturers and the colleges, I think the colleges would like to know how you've structured the curriculum and how it's integrated into the different program areas. And the manufacturers really should want to know how you gauge the student interaction and learning. How are you tracking their progress?
Yeah.
Can you go over that a little bit?
Sure, Michelle. What is very interesting is that, and extremely logical from our point of view, is that every one of the registered apprenticeship programs that you see up on our website, 7 of them are associate's degrees. Only one of them, which is in cybersecurity, is a CE, continuing education based, and then it's all based on CompTIA credentials. So saying that is a way for me to introduce you to the fact that every single one has to be started because employers wanted it. So they came to us and said, we want this program. And they also shared, we brought them in, set them around the table. They also shared with us, because we asked them, what are those competencies and those kinds of things do you want this position, this person in this position to be able to do for you? And so 2 things happened. We were able to build the competencies, because every single one of ours programs has competencies, and we have them so that when the mentor is using them, so I'm going to be able to explain to you how do we do progress and how do we document that progress of the apprentice, is that every mentor has those competencies, which then allows you to identify throughout the 3 years, and they're all 6 semesters, these programs, how are they progressing on each of the competencies within that organization, what percentage are they making each of the semesters, because at the end they should have reached all, the mentor at that company should have done 100%, met all of these, and they had graduated from Harper and with an associate's degree. So they've done well. So we brought the companies in to say to them, what kinds of competencies do you want to see in this? We even asked them things like, we went through every single one of the courses we have in that program. We went through everything that is in the learning objectives, so they could see what that was. We even asked them what kinds of assignments might you think would be useful to convey or the student to be able to demonstrate that they learn that sort of learning objective, whether it's in machine processing or welding or speech or English or tech math or quality or the CNC programming or welding. And so we got a lot of their ideas, and so that helps set what the program is. And so what is also interesting, actually, in our manufacturing kind of thing or our courses, is that actually we use Tooling U because we essentially, actually, we have no books. We have Tooling U. And the student is able to know exactly every day, because they go to school Monday through Friday for those 8 weeks, 8 weeks in the fall and 8 weeks in the spring. And that's because that is how our program was already set up. And we talked to companies, and they said they didn't mind that. And so we that's how we run them. And so they're in these 8-week blocks. Kurt and his faculty had already preset that up. And so what they use, because you must be able to document progress. And so what they use is when the student throughout these courses, they're doing these many little modules of Tooling U. And so we know, the faculty knows exactly where they're at and how they're doing and the progress they're making and that sort of thing. Our academic coach keeps on top of that and makes sure that she talks to faculty all the time, about how's everybody doing. Does everybody have an A or a B or a C? Did anybody drop? Did anybody jump from a C to an A? So she can, give some strokes and some kudos to the person that's doing very well. Has somebody not uploaded something? Has somebody not done their English paper? And so everybody keeps on top of that. So it's very important that we're able to look at progress. And for us, in the advanced manufacturing area, we use Kurt and Aaron and his faculty use Tooling U modules, and then we also drop in NIMS credentials so that we can have the student have other kinds of credentials too. So that's how we look at progress, and then we go out and I used to do this before we got too busy, but Ann goes out now, the academic coach, and meets with all the companies and talks to the mentor and says to the mentor, how are they doing? How are they involving what they've learned at school these couple of semesters? They had, an English course, and they had the quality and machine processing one, and they had safety, and they had tech math and all that. How are they involving that with what you're doing here at the company? And so everybody is on board and knows where all the companies are for their progress. And so it's really important that we keep a good handle on how everybody is doing. And to do that, we do a lot of CQI, which is continuous quality improvement. So after each semester, we ask the students and the faculty, how are things going? We ask two big questions. What worked really well and what works really well, and then and we want them to share that with us. And then the other question is what didn't work so well? What should we throw away, or how should we do it better? And do you have suggestions? And then every year we bring in companies, we invite them in. And so just this June, Kurt and all his faculty with Industrial Maintenance Mechanic and CNC got together, and the companies came in, and we walked over how did things go and what was good and what should we kind of do a little better. And what kinds of suggestions do you have? Are the students being prepared enough for you? Those kinds of things. So it's really important that we continue these great conversations, and that companies know they're a part of this, and we want their feedback. And then with the student, we always want to make sure that we understand and can document and can gauge how are the students doing, what is their progress, and are they sharing what they're learning in the classroom back at the employers. One of the things that Ann keeps telling me and sharing with the students in particular is companies will always say to Ann, we want them to share more. We want them to bring ideas on. And, apprentices are kind of hesitant because, they're apprentices and they don't want to make a mistake to their mentor or say the wrong thing and all that. She keeps encouraging them, no, give them your ideas. Share with them what you've learned at school, because we have other people in those classes. We keep the seats, so we have 8, 9, 10 apprentices in a classroom, but we might have a couple of other students who are from the public. It's called open enrollment, and so they get another flavor of what's going on into other companies. So we always want everybody to talk to everybody, because that's kind of how you learn too, is learning what other people are doing, or how much does it work, and that sort of stuff.
Well, thank you very much for that, especially talking about how you gauge their success. I appreciate that. Just quickly, what's the number of graduates you've had? How many have you served?
Well, the amount of people, because our programs have been, they're 3 years long or 2 years long, so they're kind of in here a long time. We have actually, because we just started school yesterday, so hello to new apprentices. We actually have now 57 new apprentices coming. The majority are in IMM and CNC. And so all total, year to date, we've had around 155 we have served? So that's a good question, and I get that a lot from people that say, well, yes, and you've been around a while, but how many people have you really served? 2, 3? And I say, no, until today it was 97, now 98, but now we're having more. So we have around, we admitted 57 yesterday. We have a total that it was 155 that we've had, that we have served. Continuous in our programs, we have about 136 of them going through now. We've graduated one class, of industrial maintenance mechanic. They just graduated because they started 3 years ago, and we did that this May. There were 5 of those guys, so they're each from a different company. So you can aggregate those smaller companies so that they all can graduate. We had others in our white collar. For example, our insurance company graduated the first 19 apprentices in insurance in the country last December. So now that we're starting to see this cycle, because it's been 3 years, that we're having more and more graduates, because about 88% of our people always continue and will graduate. So yeah, so we got a large number.
Well, that's a great answer, again. And I really love how this accommodates the smaller companies. I think that's very important.
Yeah.
So let's just go on to this last question to really, what is your message to the audience today about how other colleges and or manufacturers that are interested in this, how can they, what do you want to tell them in order to do this, to encourage them to do this?
Well, one of the things that I can really say is you can do this. I can stress that. You can do this. As a community college, I think that what some community colleges don't understand is they have 50% of this already done. They have associate's degrees and credentials, certificates already done, and they can use that as the basis for any registered apprentice. You can use the people that you have inside, a dean or secretaries or an advisor. So you can work that so that you can do that inside and really help with the program and getting the program started up. You have faculty who want to work with you, and so you already have that kind of bought in. And for companies, what we have found is that companies will say, oh, that's a great idea, because we have breakfasts all the time to introduce companies to what are apprenticeships and that sort of thing. But companies, some companies are ready and some companies are not. And until companies are ready to understand that this is a little longer term pipeline strategy, that this isn't, you can find the guy who knows 100% of exactly what you want him to know, and he'll still need to have updates about what your company wants. So until they feel comfortable with that, they probably won't take an apprentice. But our companies, we're starting to see this turnover and this role that they truly understand. They can't find the guys they want. Why not grow your own? Take somebody and mold them into exactly what you want for your company. And it's a long process. It's 2 or 3 years. For our advanced manufacturing, it's all 3 years. And so that, and now we have some apprentices that just graduate that they are now, for those companies, becoming the mentor. And we have mentor classes so that the person who is appointed to be a mentor can come to 4 little classes. It's all free. They can just come and they understand about what are competencies and how do you do that, and how do you encourage your student and your apprentice, and how do you know that, and the apprentice may you need to recognize that they may have a different learning style than your mentor, and how do you do that? How do you set goals for them? All those kinds of things. So the words are, yes, you can do this. You just have to find that the companies in your area for community college that want to try this and want to do this, because once they try it, and it's all customer service based, is that, and you keep everybody in the loop. Everybody knows that this is an apprentice and the companies are paying for you to work, and the benefits and the salary and your education, that builds in that loyalty. And in the community colleges can do this, but you may have to change or streamline some things so it's really doable and functions well within the community college. But you already have most of these areas that covered that you need, like faculty and support and admissions, and so it is doable. You just need to do it.
Well, that's a very good message to everyone. We have so many questions, and I want to let everybody know that if we don't get to your question, we will be circling back and make sure that we do answer everybody's question. But I'm going to try and cover a couple that have been several times. And one of them, we talked about the cost, and I understand the manufacturers pay for it, and there are certain state eligible grant money or funds for that. But what is the average total cost for one of these programs? Just a baseline.
Sure. So
by the way, we have about 10 minutes left. I just want to let you know we're going to see if we can get 2 or 3 questions in.
Okay, it's on the website. If you go over to hire, where the companies are, hire an apprentice, and go down to the bottom, we have all kinds of fact sheets. So everything is there. And we encourage the community college to take anything and everything you want off that website and print it and change the name and do whatever you want. The price is $3,000 a semester because we have such huge pieces of equipment and lots of fees and that sort of stuff. So the company pays the student a salary and benefits at a lower level, and the student all knows this. Everybody knows that they're paying for your education. And then I invoice the company a flat fee of $3,000 a semester. So 3,000 times 6 semesters, it is $18,000. And so, and that includes all the books, all the fees, all the registration, all of the added value that is found in this academic coach, because we absolutely knows it works. We get tutors if they need a tutor. We have the mentoring for your mentors, and we have all the paperwork for the Department of Labor Office of Apprenticeship. We take care of all that.
That's a very simple formula, so it's a great answer and very clear. So everybody go to the website and copy away.
Yeah.
We had a really interesting question. What if you're a small company and you really don't have a qualified mentor? How do you handle that?
Well, we have classes. We have courses for it, and it's on the website. And I want to tell you that in the website we have over underneath the Hire an Apprentice, we have the outline of the mentor training. And our guy, his name is Daryl Katz, who does that. He would take any phone calls from any of you. But it's not onerous at all. It's just getting the mentors to understand that actually everybody's got a learning style. That you have to know what the competencies are and what do you do with them and how do you do that, and essentially helps every company if they have questions, and there's always one person that you can call in the college about answering a question about your apprentice, and that's Ann. She's our academic coach. So help yourself with the mentors. Everything is up there. It's in an outline format, and help yourself. If you need any other information or any other questions, just go to the website, and there's a phone number you can call us.
I'll do one more quick question, and then we'll try and wrap this up. Mm-hmm. Who tracks the OJT hours, the on-the-job training hours?
The mentor. We have a very simple little form, very simple, and we suggest that the mentors teach by projects. And you can have lots of mentors. You could have 10 in the company. It doesn't matter, because you probably want the guy to go or the young lady to go throughout the company so they know lots about your company. But it's just a weekly thing, and you just write down the on-the-job training hours. You just write down the hours. And we always ask you, as a mentor, to meet with the apprentice once a week. You really must take them out of their area, set them down somewhere quiet, even if it's 30 minutes, and talk about how's it going, what are you learning, how can I help you learn better, how can I help you structure something, is there something you don't understand, let's talk through it, and here's why we need to do this so that you can do that later. But adult learners learn by making sure that they know what they're learning and why they're learning it, and why it could be helpful to them as they do their job at moving forward. So.
Well, great. We're going to make sure, Tooling U is going to make sure that you receive a follow-up email that will give you the YouTube link to this webinar, and you can answer all of the questions, but we're going to come back and answer all of your questions as well individually. I wanted to also let you know on the last note, Dr. Lake is hosting a working conference on implementing apprenticeship programs on October 8th and 9th at Harper College in Palatine. You can see the flyer and the information. I'm sure she'd love to have you join her there to continue the conversation. She's also going to be appearing on a panel to discuss the rebooting of apprenticeships along with Montez King from NIMS, Margot Meyer from Rhodes Estate, and Denise Ball from our Tooling U-SME. This will be at the NCATC National Coalition of Advanced Technology Centers 30th Anniversary Conference. It's going to be here in Cleveland on September 19th through 21st. You can go to ncatc.org for more information and to register. And you can always, this is a little bit about Tooling U you can look at, and this is always a way to contact us for any of this information that we weren't able to cover today. And we're so grateful for you being here. Thank you very much. We'll be back in touch with you very soon. I'm going to hand it over to Trevor now. And thank you, Dr. Harper. This was, I did it again. Dr. Lake, I've done that. Thank you, Dr. Lake, for your involvement and your participation. I really do appreciate it. And thank you all for joining us. Trevor, take it over, please.
Very good, very good. Thank you all for joining us today and for your participation. We'd also like to thank our speakers for sharing their expertise. At this point, I'll alert all attendees to the survey that I've just brought up on your screen. We do ask that you take a moment to fill this out as it helps us in improving future presentations. This concludes today's session. To disconnect, simply hang up and exit out of your browser windows. Thank you very much.